he used to sample sounds from his mother in the kitchen, and he actually never believed that he would play outside of the Netherlands. My name is Victor Kidson, and I'm here in Stockholm, Sweden, for Summerburst with Mr. Armin van Buuren. How are you doing today?
Good, thank you.
What does Stockholm mean to you?
One of my favorite cities to go to. I mean, I've been here when I wasn't DJing or when I just love the city. And of course, there's so much music history here too. So, yeah, it's one of my favorite places to come to. Yeah.
Have you ever tried out the nightlife?
Only a little bit. Not too much, to be honest, no.
Going back to music, how did your mom react when you actually sampled her sounds in the kitchen?
My mother wasn't really a fan, I guess. She didn't like to hear her own voice. Who does?
Did you ever use those sounds in tracks? Like, have we ever heard a sample from your mother in the track?
No, I've never done that. No, I've never used an actual recording of my mom, no.
No. When you started to produce back in the late 1990s, what were your musical dreams back then? Because it was a different climate, right?
Yeah, it was a very different climate. First of all, everything was on vinyl. There were no, CDs that you were mixing with. That was kind of illegal at that time. There was no everything in the box. There was no DAW that had all the plugins and everything. So you had to buy all the outboard gear. And the dance scene wasn't as developed as it is now. It was completely unthinkable to DJ for more than 3,000 people. The first Dance Valley in 1992 was, I think, for 8,000 people. And that was big, Wow, did you hear that? So, yeah, the numbers have grown. And for me, music has always been a hobby. I was lucky enough to finish my law degree, and so I had that. So music has always been sort of fun for me. It's never been like, oh, I have to make a new track, or I have to do this gig because I have to pay rent or something. Nothing like that.
Yeah, because I know you made a promise to your father and to your grandfather about finishing your law degree, right? And then, was it hard to get into music? How was that balance?
Well, you have to understand, I never had a plan to make an actual career in music because there's so much competition. I didn't have a musical education, and I didn't think anything would work out. But I loved electronic music. I was a bit of a nerd myself with computers and stuff like that. So I was just educating myself, learning to write in BASIC a little, C++, compiling my own programs a little bit, and just nerding away. And, I went from one track to the other track. My first couple of tracks were just really bad. I recently found them. They're just really bad.
Yeah, that EP, right?
They were just in mono, and yeah, but you have to start somewhere, and I guess that's where it sort of started. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I was sort of in love with that whole disco hype kind of thing, and with the Dutch club sound, with all the organs and all that sort of stuff. Until trance came, Sven Vath and Paul van Dyk and Mike van Dyk and Trésor, Guerrilla Records, Limbo. When I heard that sound, I was hooked. And that sort of got me really into I really wanted to create that sort of sound. So I started to make some tracks under different names like Hyperdrive Inc. and The Shoeshine Factory and really random names. But I was just experimenting, to see what I wanted to do. And just thinking, I'm going to finish my law degree and I'm going to be a lawyer. I'll have a job. I'll go stand in traffic every day. And I really thought that was going to be my life.
Was there a specific moment when you realized that, wow, music is actually going to work full-time?
Not really. I mean, there hasn't been a specific moment in time where I thought, all right, I really made it. But there are a couple of key moments that I thought, like, okay, maybe this can be my career. Maybe this is something I'll do the rest of my life. Like, for example, when I was voted #1 DJ for the first time in DJ Magazine, or when I was starting my own label in 2003, Armada Music, which made me very proud because, I always dreamed of having my own label, so I had the total freedom to release whatever I wanted to release. So yeah, it's been quite a journey.
But in the beginning, you actually never saw the fact that it would go global, that you would play out of the Netherlands, or that you would play as globally as you do right now.
A lot of people think, like, did you dream of playing EDC, or did you dream of playing Ultra or Tomorrowland? And I always tell these people, well, when I started DJing, there was no Tomorrowland. There wasn't not even a DJ magazine yet. Or maybe there was, but there wasn't a DJ Mag Top 100. That didn't start until 1997 or 1998. So it was completely unthinkable to DJ anywhere outside the Netherlands. I mean, I remember a couple of DJs who were lucky to go to Crete when there was a lot of Dutch people there, or to Spain,
That was exotic, right?
Yeah, that was exotic. Let alone to DJ in the UK or the US, That was a dream of everybody, but that was there was no festival scene. And maybe you had ultra music. That's it. It was during Miami Music Week on the beach. And that was it. That was the only festival in America, I think, or maybe they had one or two others. And then that scene was sort of slowly up and coming, and it was happening, and it really exploded around 2008, 2009. And it was really like, wow, hold on a minute. I didn't see this coming. This is interesting.
What do you think traveling as much as you do has given you as a person?
I'm very blessed to have seen so much of the world. I'm very blessed to have worked with so many great people, to meet so many different people. And I think my view of the world has completely changed. I mean, if you turn on the news in any random city or in your home, you get a view of the world translated by somebody else. But if you travel the world yourself and you speak to different people about the problems, like, for example, in Mexico or in Argentina about the economy, or in Brazil about corruption, or, I like to talk about that a little bit. And then, people in these countries have a different opinion about it. They have a different lifestyle. And it's made me a richer person. Not because I agree or disagree, but more like you take the information directly from the source. And you've been there, so you see it and you understand it better. I don't agree with it, of course, but it's nice to know these different cultures. And I understand the different religions now a little bit. I understand a little bit the difference between certain countries.
I was speaking to Ben Liebrand prior to this interview before, and I wanted to see if he had a question for you. Oh. And he actually did. So this is from Ben Liebrand. Armin, what are your two most beautiful productions?
My two most beautiful productions are Fenna and Remy.
That's what he told me that you would answer, actually, because, family is very important.
Yeah, I mean, family is the cornerstone of everything you are and what you do. I mean, music is great. Music is my other family as well, but no, your family will always be there for you, no matter if you're successful, if you're not successful, if you're hardworking or not so hardworking. To them, success doesn't matter. I mean, my son this morning, I told him that Daddy was going away for 10 days because I have to see if the Earth is still round. And my son said, well, Daddy, can you not please not go? Just not go. And he helped me, and it's like those are the tough moments in my career when he does that. Those are really the moments like, why am I doing this? Why am I going through all this shit? And why am I, have delays, lost bags, negative people on Twitter, and why do I have to read all this? But at the end of the day, when he's home, and nothing else matters. I mean, it's I know it's cliche, and I know a lot of parents have said this, but it's so true.
I was speaking to another family member as well, your brother, Eller, and he had a question as well, or he told me something. He wanted me to ask you what you want to talk about in interviews, actually, because you do a lot of interviews. And he actually wanted me to ask you what you want them to focus on.
Well, to be honest, I'm not really fond of interviews so much because it's always an interpretation. I mean, now you have video cameras running, but especially for written press, there's always sort of an angle, and there's always sort of a unique selling point in an interview. And I guess I'm just wondering how much people are really interested in something. You have the standard answers for a lot of questions, but there's often people that are so living in their own world, like I am. I'm living in my own world as well. So, yeah. I don't know. I find it really hard to think of a topic just because I'm not the biggest fan of interviews myself.
You're just about to go on stage here at Summerburst.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind right now? Because there's like minutes left almost.
Yeah. No, I'm super excited. I mean, last 2 weeks ago, I was here in Gothenburg, and it was amazing. A lot of young people. I'm trying to secretly listen what the other DJs are playing before me because I don't want to sort of repeat what they're playing. But I won't. They play a lot of tracks that I don't have, so that's good. That's good.
What are you? One last question. What are you working on right now, studio-wise?
I'm working on the old school mini album. I'm releasing a mini album. On my last album, Embrace, there was a track called Old School, and for the Armin Only Embrace show, I made that into sort of a thing during the show by remixing some old classics because I wanted to play these classics in my show, but they sounded so dated. So I was just thinking, okay, how would the producer produce this if he was born in 2016, or if he would produce this in 2016, I should say. So I remixed a couple of those classics that really got me into dance music. I was 14, 15, and I was buying my first CDs, making my first mixtapes. So a couple of these tracks, I actually approached the original master owners, and I got the rights to use the original samples. Like, for example, Human Resource Dominator. That was one of the tracks. I mean, it's not trance, I know, but it was just one of those tracks that made dance music. The sound, and it was really a unique track. And but I wanted to play it in my show, and it sounds that sounds so dated. It still sounds great, but it doesn't sound like now. So I decided to remix a couple of those older tracks, and I'm going to turn them into a mini album.
Interesting. I can't wait for that right now. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It was a nice interview.
Thank you.
Unravel life till there's nothing left. It's a long way down, but I got you now.